The Cleveland Browns just got an avalanche of updates. What's up, everybody? My name is Colin, and this is Standard Coverage. Every single day, breaking down content related to different NFL teams. I'm not a Browns fan, but I'll tell you this. I do really like what you guys have done, and I want to bring a fair-minded take. I want to sound a little bit more like your group chat, or I want to sound a little bit more nuanced than really what the national media is putting out around your team. So I want to take some nuance and fair-minded takes into consideration with this. But today, I just want to break down a bunch of different things. The new coach, new offense, what we're seeing from OTAs, what we're seeing post-draft, the unresolved quarterback stuff, the best player in Myles Garrett might want out, and really just talk about some of the potential of some of your amazing first and second year players. There's a lot to really love about what the Cleveland Browns are doing right now. But again, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It does help me out each and every day if you guys do that. But let's start off with who are the Browns right now. Again, 5-12 this last year, but going into 2026, easiest schedule. We'll talk about that later when we're talking about things that we really love about going into this year. But again, by some people's metrics, you guys have an amazing opportunity with your schedule. But you get year one in Monken, the first year head coach. You guys have been rebuilding for too long, longer than I've been alive, if I'm being honest. But honestly, it's just been this painful cycle of quarterback after quarterback. But right now, you guys have got 3 or maybe even 4 on the roster. But Deshaun Watson could be an X factor after, major multiple years of recovery. But the good news is you guys go into this season with a great schedule opportunity. But the bad news is that there's a lot of things that are unsettled. Even going to the Quinshon Judkins injury, he looks good in some of the OTA stuff, but we'll talk about it more. But again, Deshaun Watson is truly like the X factor. We're going to talk about him in a bit, or a bit here in this video. But he's owed money. Again, you guys give him this massive guaranteed contract. What is it, like 5 years ago from the Texans now? But he missed all of 2025. He's had multiple Achilles injuries. But he is out there getting first team reps, so don't miss that. But not only that, again, since since Shedeur Sanders has taken over, he went 3-4 as a starter. And you know what? He dropped in the draft last year. That was a whole narrative, a whole story. I don't even think you as Cleveland Browns fans are like settled on who you want to be the starter. Let me know down in the comments. Let me know. But again, Monken has said he's come a long way. And, he's switched, he's preferred number 2 jersey. He's settled in. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with him, and even Dylan Gabriel, and just what happens with the team. But again, the problem is Watson's guaranteed money makes it hard to bench him, especially, regardless of the off the field stuff, but even just realizing I think has the highest ceiling out of all the quarterbacks currently on your roster and depth chart. But then you've got some weird stuff going on with Myles Garrett. Again, I'm not going to rehash this too much, but he's not at OTAs. His contract is great, but it quietly had some rework done in March, pushing some of his payment deadlines past the beginning of September, which indicates that there might be some movement happening here. Again, you guys probably could get 2 to 3 plus first round picks for a guy like Myles Garrett. Is that a move that you guys want to make? I don't know. I think the season that you're in, you guys are like truly 1 year away from contending. You guys have some really, really great weapons and players on your roster, and I say that 1 to 2 years away. You guys could really push this year, maybe for the division. We'll see. You got the Bengals and the Ravens and the Steelers. It's a really hard division. But again, the contract modification is pretty telling. The silence from Myles Garrett is also real. June 16th is the mandatory minicamp, which is truly like the litmus test when we're looking at what you're going to see out of Myles Garrett. So if Garrett doesn't show, he truly becomes the full story. And again, he is a player he might be the best player in the entire NFL. I don't think that's crazy to say. Defense, absolutely. But going on, we got to talk about what Todd Monken is installing at OTAs and really what we're just seeing from him. So Cleveland, of course, you guys ranked near the bottom of the NFL in a lot of the efficiency metrics, especially on offense the last 2 seasons. Your defense has been great. However, you've got a first-time head coach at the age of 60 in Todd Monken. He, of course, has a great level of success in Georgia, goes to the Ravens, but now he's your head coach installing a new offensive scheme, which again is the thing that has been holding you back as a team. So there's going to be a lot of heavy motion and a big change from the Stefanski-led offense. Again, the vision now is to run the ball, create space with motion, and even just let the receivers, the rookie receivers, and even Harold Fannin just do the work that they were drafted to do. The offense doesn't need a superstar quarterback. It needs just a competent one that can spread the ball around. You guys have 3 receivers who are great. You've got a tight end who's elite. You've got a running back, 2 of them, in Dylan Sampson and Quinshon Judkins, who have great high ceilings. Again, Travis Switzer, again, Ravens running game background, has rebuilt the offensive line, so it's probably going to be a ground and pound attack. First, it's going to take a lot of pressure off the quarterback. You've got weapons at every single position. You don't overlook that. You guys have one of the best skill position groups. Casey Concepcion is a dog, and you stole him from some other teams where you drafted him. And getting Denzel Boston at the top of the second is going to be a really fun addition. You've got so many fun weapons. Your offense is about to go through the roof. But hey, a lot of the things that are being installed are a lot of heavy motion concepts. And so that's going to open up more separation, which means it's easier lanes and pockets for the quarterback to throw the ball into. So the quarterback doesn't need to be a superstar. He doesn't need to throw everything on his shoulders. Again, it's a little bit different from what Stefanski had, but also your offensive line has been increased, has become better. You've added 3 legit starters just in this offseason, rebuilding that from scratch. But again, when you're looking at building around a quarterback, I just think of like Jared Goff, even with the Lions, where Jared Goff, yes, he was pretty good with the Rams, but you know what? Sean McVay's like, he's not my ceiling guy. And so he gets traded to the Lions, and the Lions have surrounded him for the last 3 years, outside of last year. A great offensive line has surrounded him with multiple elite receiving options, with multiple great running backs. You don't need Deshaun Watson, Dylan Gabriel, or even, Shedeur Sanders potentially to be all-world level quarterbacks. You need them to be able to spread the ball around and manage the game really well. Again, I think Deshaun Watson gives you the highest ceiling. Let me know your thoughts on that. But Casey Concepcion, he is going to be so fun for your team. You have every receiving weapon, every running back weapon, and an offensive line to really vault you past the 26 points per game, which is not a crazy threshold when you look at the scope of the NFL and given the fact that your defense is as elite as it is. Not only that, here's a couple of things that we're seeing out of this summer program and OTAs. Watson does look like the QB1 right now. Again, he's still getting back most of the first team reps. One Cleveland reporter said, when I looked out there, it looked like it was Deshaun Watson as the QB1, basically getting all those first team looks. But it's still clearly, it's not clearly developed yet. So there's no pads, no contact. Real evaluation is going to start in July when training camp is up and running. But again, Monken was also impressed with Shedeur Sanders, so keep that in mind. But again, there's just a bunch of other guys emerging on defense. You guys have the potential to be, again, a top 3, top 4 unit on the defensive side of the ball again this year. There's a lot to really, really like about the Cleveland Browns going into 2026. This motion offense is going to take a bit to install. We'll see how it works out, especially early on in the preseason once those things start. But a couple other things here with this Myles Garrett situation. You can read the facts on the screen if you want, or read the information. But again, you've got to have your mind towards June 16 and what's going to come out from there. You don't want to get rid of Myles Garrett. I realize the allure of more draft picks could be there, but you've got one in the hand. Don't be considering 2 or 3 in the bush. You could get 2 or 3 first round picks, or 2 firsts and a second from a team. But do you want to really take more gambles on late round or late first round picks. I just don't know if you do if you're the Cleveland Browns here. But overall, again, are the Browns interesting in 2026? Absolutely. Easiest schedule, in my opinion, in the NFL, up there at least top 3 easiest. Offensive line rebuilt. You've got Judkins, Concepcion, Boston, and Harold Fannin taking a jump even in this year. Watson in this offense could be an X factor. But again, there is some decisions. What's happening with Myles Garrett? What's happening with the QB situation? Watson hasn't played really much in the last 18 months. New coach, new scheme. There is growing pains. There's some taxes that you got to pay on that every single year when you bring in a new guy. But again, Judkins, his lateral agility is going to take some time. It looks like he's explosive vertically, but it does make a difference. But thankfully, you guys got Dylan Sampson out there in the backfield as well to catch those balls. But again, this is probably the most interesting Cleveland Browns team that we've seen in, I don't know, a couple of years in my opinion. But in all of it, hey, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you found something valuable in here. But also, thank you so much for sticking by to the end. We'll see you later. Have a great day.